guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought for today I would do a look, actually this look that I'm wearing right now. I thought that I would do sort of a look inspired by the Kathleenlights Colourpop Dream collection. She came out with this collection. It included an eyeshadow palette and a lip trio, including I think it's 2 satin lips and then 1 ultra glossy lip. And I've been playing around with this palette a lot. This is the first time that I actually went and I got a palette from one of my favorite YouTubers, actually my favorite YouTuber in the world, Kathleenlights. I hope to be as creative as she is, and she also has her own nail polish company, nail polish company. I thought that it would be my turn to create a look inspired by her palette and her collection, and I'm also using one of her satin lips from the Dream Team trio as well. So if you guys want to learn how to get the look that I'm wearing now, then just keep watching. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is taking the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade Light 10. I'm going to be applying that all over my lids just to cover up any discoloration, freckles that I may have underneath there, as well as some of the veins that I have too. I'm then going to be taking the Dream Street palette by the Kathleenlights and Colourpop collab, and I'm taking the light brown crease shade that's in there called Shooting Star on a fluffy crease brush, and then I'm just going to be applying that over the entire lid. And I did use a face powder to set my eyelids before I applied the shade. Then I'm going to be taking the shade Magical. It's more of like a peachy shade, and I'm going to be applying that in the crease as well, kind of blowing that out. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is taking this sort of flat shader brush. I think it would be considered a crease brush as well, just a little bit more dense, and we're going to be taking that hot pink shade in the palette called Spark and putting that on the outer corners as well as into the crease. We're not blowing it out as much as we did with the peachy shade. Okay, so just to make sure that everything is blended fairly well, we're going to be taking that first fluffy brush with no additional product, and we're just going to be blending out those edges. Now with another clean crease brush, similar to the black one that we used for the pink shade, we're going to be going into this dark teal color in the palette. This dark teal color is called Water Bear. We're going to be putting that on the outer corners as well. Again, not blowing it out as far as the peachy shade or the pink shade. Just to make sure that everything blends nicely, you want to start off with a little bit of product on the brush and then build up as you go. You don't want to pack a lot of product on your brush just because it's going to make it harder to blend out in the end. I'm just going back and forth with that dark teal color and the hot pink color, blending and building up the opacity of both of those colors. I really want both of those colors to stand out. And then just to make sure that those colors are blended nice and evenly, I'm going to take the peachy shade and kind of mold those two colors together. Next, we're going to take the shade Mermaid Boy. It's more of a shimmery version of the shade Water Bearer. We're going to take that on our finger and apply it all over our lid. I love how these two colors just go perfectly together, like hand in hand. A matte version, a shimmery version. Kathleen definitely knew what she was doing when she was putting these colors together. Now we're going to take the shade Kaleidoscope. It's a lighter version, it's a far lighter version of Mermaid Boy. We're going to apply that to the center of our lid to sort of create a halo effect with the two shimmery colors. Then you're going to take a little bit more of that matte shade called Water Bearer and blend out the edges of that all over lid color called Mermaid Boy. So we're going to take that hot pink shade again and then intensify it as well as blend out the edges. Okay, so next we're going to go into the Physicians Formula Natural Nude Highlighting Palette. We're going to go into the more white and pink shades in the palette, and then I'm going to apply that as a highlight on my brow bone. I find it easier to apply highlight with your finger rather than a brush. Also, I don't really have a brush to highlight my brow bone, so that's the reason why I'm using my fingers. I'm not only applying it to my brow bone, I'm also going to put a little bit in my inner corners as well and use that as an inner corner highlight. Now, I didn't get much fallout after doing my eyeshadow on the top, but I am going to clean up the corners as well by just taking a makeup wipe, and this is the Neutrogena makeup wipe, and just cleaning up the edges. I decided to go in with the No. 7 Stay Perfect foundation in the shade Cool Vanilla, and the Maybelline Matte and Poreless foundation in the shade 105 Fair Ivory. I mixed those two shades on the back of my hand with the back of a small brush. I then applied it onto my face, and I wanted to make sure that it matched my skin tone as well. I'm just using the back of this brush to apply the foundation all over generously. After I had put all the foundation on my face, I took the Real Techniques blending sponge. I then dampened it with water, and now I'm blending in my foundation. I'm not usually a super high coverage kind of person, so this foundation I would say is light to medium coverage. It definitely works well with my skin. I kind of have normal to oily skin, so I try to stay away from those dewy, hydrating foundations. I like the more matte look. Even though I don't like a high coverage foundation, I definitely prefer a more high coverage concealer. So I'm going in with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer because it definitely knows how to cover up my under eye dark circles. I definitely do have a little bit of redness around my nose, like around the nostrils area where I'm putting it right now. So it covers that up really nicely. I used the flat side of the beauty sponge to blend in my foundation. This time I'm going to take the other end, it's the more pointy side, and I'm using that to blend in my concealer. Next, I'll be taking the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Face Powder. I'm going to be applying this powder with the Real Techniques setting brush, making sure I set everything where I put the concealer so nothing creases. So that's going to be underneath my eyes, as well as around my nose, on the bridge of my nose, on my chin, around my mouth because of my smile lines, and then a little bit on my forehead as well. To set the rest of my face, I'll be using the CoverGirl Clean Matte Face Powder. I'll be applying this with a big fluffy face powder brush, and I am only applying just enough to set the foundation. I don't want to put too much on, just a quick swipe. Now I don't have any contour palette, so I'm going to improvise. I'm going to go into the Kathleenlights Morphe palette that she has, and I'm going to take the darker gray shade as well as the light brown crease shade, and I'm going to mix those two to make a contour shade. And I'm just going to be using the medium sculpting brush from Real Techniques to do this. So we'll take some of that on our brush, and I'm just going to apply it sort of the outer of my face, and just dragging that in underneath my cheekbone. Also, just to even things out a little bit, I'll take some on my forehead as well, just in the corners as I'm showing you now. Not too much, just to balance things out with the contour on the cheeks. And after that, we'll be going in with this dense crease brush that's angled, and then I'll be applying a little bit of that contour shade to slightly contour my nose. Okay, so then we're going to go in with the Benefit Hoola bronzer. We're going to be taking this bronzer on a Sonia Kashuk Tools brush. I forget what this brush is called, but we're just going to take it on that brush, apply it over our contour just to warm up the face a little bit, so we're not looking so pale or so muddy with that contour shade. I don't actually have a brow product to use, so this time I'm just going to go into the eyeshadow palette and use the darker brown shade that's in there, and then a flat angled brush and just apply that shadow and kind of fill in my brows. My eyebrows are a little bit lighter for being a redhead, so I just take this darker brown shade to fill them in. I'm sort of a perfectionist, so it takes me quite a while to do my brows. I used to have a brow pencil, but I found out that it doesn't last as long. I would find that I would have to repurchase every couple of weeks. Like every 2 weeks I would have to repurchase that same brow pencil. And I just thought, well, let me try eyeshadow. So I went into this palette, tried the eyeshadow out, and I found that it went perfectly with my hair color. So I just use this darker brown shadow from now on. This is a blush that I've had for quite a while. We're going to be taking the Maybelline Fit Me blush in the shade Deep Coral. To apply this blush, we'll be using the Ultimate Blending Brush from e.l.f. It's a nice round dense brush, and I'll just be taking a little bit of the product on my brush and then just applying it to the apples of my cheeks, and I am smiling a little bit just so I know where that section is. Then we'll be going in with the Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara from L'Oreal and just applying that mascara to my eyelashes. I don't know how YouTubers don't make funny faces while putting on mascara. Maybe they do, I don't know, I just haven't noticed it. And then we're going in with the L'Oreal Infallible eyeliner, just a tight line underneath because my eyelashes are a little bit blonde, so I like to do this to make my eyes pop, as well as provide a nice even line across my eyelashes. Okay, so now that we have our top lids done as well as our face, we're going to be going in back with that light brown crease shade for our bottom lashes and kind of blowing that out a little bit. Then we'll go in with that darker pink shade, kind of mimicking what I did on the top of my eyelashes. I don't want this lower lash line to be too tiny, not blended out enough, so I'm blending out that pink shade actually fairly low. Alright, so next we'll go back into that darker teal matte shade. I'm putting that on our lower lash line, not blowing it out as far as we did with the pink shade. Then for this part, I'm just taking more of that pink shade and then applying it underneath so some of that pink shines through because it wasn't as pigmented or opaque as I wanted it to be. Then off camera, I just applied some lower lash mascara, and I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara. To highlight my face, I'm just going in with the same highlight that I used on my brow bone, and I'm just taking a regular fan brush from Real Techniques and I'm applying that to the tops of my cheeks. I am one of those people that loves an intense highlight, so I'm making sure to apply that generously. I'm also putting a lot of that on my nose because I like the tip of my nose to be shiny, as well as my Cupid's bow. It adds a little bit more definition when you have lipstick on. Now for lips, I'm going in with the Ultra Satin Lip from the Dream Team Trio. This shade is called Dreamy, and I'm just applying that all over my lips as the finishing touch. I just love the combination of this eye look. Nice turquoise, pinky, peachy eye look with a nice pinky nude lipstick. I just think it looks amazing. Alright, so that's gonna be all for this look today. This is basically what I wear when I'm going out to a party or anything like that. It's a nice going out look. Alright, so that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!